family, we are back at the Honda library for another video. This will be mechanical edging because I keep bringing you close to the completion of a project but never quite following through. But this is kind of an update of where we are right now. We have two GSRs in the mix. One is a shining star of awesomeness, exactly how Acura intended it, to swap into a Honda. The other one is the bane of my existence. So let's get into it. So give me 5 on my black hand side and let's go. My baby. We are waiting to ref this bad dog, but we need to take it to the Honda dealership for them to check out the ECU so I can get the green light to take it to the ref. That's a new thing that I found out about. Cars from 2000 and up, and even though this looks like a 96, 98 for a project I wanted to do, traded the front end, this is still a 99, 2000. So this needs a new catalytic converter. That's all it needs, and it should be good to go. Maybe clean up the wiring a little bit. And I think I've mentioned plans I have in the works. I have a new engine mount to put on here. I want the Integra style one, which requires a little bracket and a different shape mount, which I have both of those. I want to swap out that for the Type R crank pulley. It's a single one because I have no other accessories. I had planned on running AC in this. That's why I kept that. But then I changed my mind and went with a full-size radiator instead. Not that I don't think you could run both. I just didn't need it on this car, even though it's my more sleek one. I also plan on painting the inside of this to the same color just to clean it up and make it nice. Maybe even fill up some of those holes, depends on the time frame in which I have to do it, but just clean it up, make it more nice, as the rest of it needs to be done. The only thing I've had to do on this, besides the catalytic converter, which I'm saving money for because they're still outrageously expensive, was I put in this new radiator cap. There was some blow-by of the fluid leaking out of here, and when I was sitting at idle, my car was starting to overheat. I swapped out this cap, of course, because it says racing, so that's the one I chose, and it worked no problem. I was at the bank, car was at idle, my fans kicked on, and my temperature dropped, and it stayed right where it should be. And the only other issue is that I need to replace the oil pan gasket, which I also have. I just need a day to take down my baby because I've been driving this more than I would like to because my other two are down. This gorgeous beauty, which looks like a 99 2000, is actually a 97. Odd. I just like to be contrarian, but still got a burnt valve in this one. Need to pop the head off, swap out hopefully just the valve and the head gasket, and this thing should be back on the road. And here we'll finish up with, this is the last one. This is the other GSR. This one has all the problems. I was borrowing my housemate's B16. It was running like a champ, but we rebuilt this one with all these Type R parts, and I was like, now is the time. We have time, let's throw it in. So I got it in as we installed it, fired this bad boy up, no oil pressure. So that was kind of rough. So then it sat here for months, probably 3 to 6 months. And then finally I got to get a new oil pump as well as time to work on it. But very seldom do oil pumps in Hondas fail because they are mechanical and inline. So as long as the motor's spinning, this thing should be pumping oil. Brand new oil pump, got it all together. Lo and behold, still no oil pressure, which leads me to believe that the oil pump was probably not the problem. Good thing I didn't throw it away. But kudos to me for having a brand new oil pump on this, which you can see down here. So this side of the engine is all greasy because, sorry about the glare, there we go, because we took off the VTEC solenoid to see if oil was coming through there. It definitely was, ergo, why it's all greasy here. On this side, so oil pump's pretty clean. There's a little bit of grease on it now, but the oil was coming midway through here. So, and it was mostly like not on the oil pump until today, so it wasn't leaking through this RTV, or the seal that I put on there, but something behind this cover is causing a problem. So this is going to come back apart. Gotta focus. It's going to come back apart. Crank pulley is going to come off. Timing cover is going to come off. Valve cover is going to come off. And it might go as far as the head coming off to figure out why, when this thing is running, the oil pressure just drops. And when it's at idle, it's darn near zero. So gotta find out why it's leaking from the front here. It doesn't seem to be pushing out in any other places. The oil pan gasket is not leaking because I just put it on. I sealed it very well, and so I was happy that I did it correctly, but we will clean this up again Hopefully I don't have to pull the oil pump again, and I'd like to flush out the oil passages. So that's just where we are at right now. And I want to show you guys one other thing. This was actually something that was requested, and so let's flip over to that. So this was the request. Johnny K had asked me about how the Skunk 2 intake manifold works on the GSR in a Civic, because we were both rocking the same thing, and I think that he either has or wants this manifold, and he was saying how he wasn't sure how the coolant lines ran. And as I remember from just putting that one and with my silver car, they run pretty simply. I don't think that we had to make any modifications to make this work. So let me show you. Coolant lines, of course, up front are the same. One difference that I've noticed between the two is on the GSR, it has this piece on the front upper radiator hose, and this little hose runs from up here. Oh, I might need to replace a O-ring inside my distributor. I see some oil collecting at the bottom here. That's why it's a good thing to look over your cars, but there's a little pipe right there. Sorry, my finger's in the way, and it runs all the way back to the bottom of the throttle body. Ooh, this car's still hot. I just got home. You can see it right through here. Okay, so that's where that hose goes, from front to back. Right, so that's one of the coolant lines. On the back, there is, I think this is an older one too, so this is really going to show the difference. So that's where that first coolant hose goes. The second coolant hose goes from here, which is the back of the manifold, and right down until right behind the thermostat housing is the connection. So those are the only two real connections. My housemate, he has a GSR. I think he also has a Skunk 2 manifold. I don't have his keys, but I believe that he has a different coolant tube pipe that goes from the water pump over, and he has an extra little piece that comes out, but I don't think that would affect this in any way. But so this is what my 2000 looks like, Johnny. I wanted to show you that. So it's just pretty basic of an install, but my other one does look different. So let's go look at that one. All right, red to blue, starting in the front. We took a bolt and we sealed it, ran it down in there, and then shaved it off because we no longer wanted to use that port. And the reason we did that, as we come to the back and we look under that same bigger hose that comes out of the intake manifold, right below it is another little spout, and we connected from that spout because we didn't want to modify the manifold, and it goes to that spot right under the throttle body. So it's kind of dealer's choice. If you find a new one, it'll probably look like this because this was purchased within the last year, and that other one I've had for 4 or 5 years. So they changed the design. I'm not sure why. I could have left it without, but these are both official Skunk 2 manifolds, and I have the paperwork to prove it. But that's how the coolant lines run. So you can really do dealer's choice as long as it gets from where the hot coolant is to the throttle body. It should be good for emissions, and I don't think they're really gonna scrutinize that or wonder why it's like that, because I feel like that's a pretty clean modification. So we're just trying to get through these holidays. We'll get back to this bad boy, and then right now I got to change the air filter on my wife's CRV, and I'm waiting for my friend Adam to finish collecting parts, and I have a few parts for him so that we can auto to manual swap his, I think it's a 98 Honda Civic HX, and those things are an absolute conundrum. They come with VTEC like an EX, but then they have the same manifold as a DX has with the catalytic converter in the front, so absolutely horrible. And then because it's got a CVT transmission, automatic transmission, they don't have the typical mount that every other Civic has right here in the front above the transmission. So we're gonna have to convert to the style that the regular automatic and all the manuals have to make this manual swap on his D series. But it's going to be an awesome video. We're going to try to knock it out in one day with the custom work of fixing that bracket. Well, until I see you next time, Modified Family, peace. Why not slip in a little how-to on how to swap an air filter? I believe in the K24 2012 Honda CRV. It was easy. There was 3 clips, and these things separated without even having to loosen this. I might have to loosen it to put it back on. Don't know, but we can definitely see, one, that my wife got the right one. I knew she would. And second, how dirty this one was. I don't remember the last time we changed this. When you open it, it's like, this ain't that bad. You come over here and be like, yeah, it's pretty dirty, but this should be all ready for our trip tomorrow. And I need to find out where the starter is on this thing, because every time she starts it, it makes this clicking noise, but then it goes away, and it usually doesn't happen when the car is warm. And so I'm guessing, since the transmission's over here, the starter's probably under this mess, and I gotta see how hard it is to change it, because hopefully we can save some money and do it here at the Honda library instead of at a shop.